Click, click, boom! The wait is over, faithfuls. Your boys are back. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew. We are here to bring you guys another position breakdown. We're going to talk all things linebackers today for our San Francisco 49ers. But before we get down to the nitty-gritty, I got to go through the formalities. I'm going to be joined today by my man Nick and by my man Tony. Their Twitter handles, respectively, are 49er Faithful 365 and NJ Niner Fan 499. I am 49ers Mike _NF. You guys can find all of us and more over at nothingbutniners.com. We have a page over there that says About Us, and you can see a whole bunch of different bios from a lot of the different crew members. We have more members that even aren't on that page yet. They got to get those bios over there to us, and we're going to load them up there as well so you guys can get to know who is behind the magic here at Nothing But Niners. Make sure you check it out. While you're at the website, guys, make sure you hit us up on all of our different social medias. You'll see that all on there also. Our Twitter and our Snapchat are Nothing But 9ERS. Our Facebook and our Instagram are Nothing But Niners. It's spelled all the way out, 3 separate words. Not hard to find on any of those platforms. Stop by, give us likes, thumbs up, and all that good stuff. Even check us out on the podcast tip, okay? We're converting a lot of these things into podcasts for people who don't have time to sit around and watch the screen all day long. You guys can plug in some headphones, and you get some good quality content, okay? My mans are ready to do this show. I'm ready to do this show. We're going to talk about a position that I think the 49ers need a lot of help in, and that's going to be the linebackers group. But before we get to all that, fellas, what's going on, man? Tony, how you doing over there, man? You ready to do this?
Yes, sir. Faithful, what's up? Mike, Nick, what's going on? Talking some LBs tonight. Just looking forward, man. It's getting closer. Getting closer to that tampering time. Then free agency. Shit's about to hit the fan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about that, too. We got some things that might be affecting our 49ers. We're going to get to that before we get down to the linebackers and things like that. But my man Nick is here, too. What's going on, man? How you feeling over there?
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Get excited, man. Like Tony said, man, shit's about to hit the fan. We hope shit's about to hit the fan with our team. We know it's going to hit the fan with the rest of the league, but I'm excited, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the things that happened today. The 4 o'clock deadline came and went for the application of the franchise tags. 6 players got the tags, including Robbie Gould. The 49ers were the first team to use it. But some edge rushers that the Niners maybe looking at also had the tag thrown on them. DeMarcus Lawrence is one of them. D Ford was another one. Jadeveon Clowney also received the tag. Those are the 3 big names that I can think of that got the tag. That's 4 players. Who are the other 2 guys that got the tag? I can't remember right now.
You got Clowney, Lawrence, D Ford,
Jarrett from Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Jarrett, Grady Jarrett, and there was one other than Robbie Gould.
Jarrett was the other one. Okay, so we're going to talk about that.
Frank Clark.
Oh, and Frank Clark from Seattle. You're right. Frank Clark is the other one. Good job there, fellas. Good job. Now, the thing is, a lot of those guys were people that we were hoping we could see in the 49ers uniform. I did my 5 ways to change the 49ers, 5 ways to fix the 49ers, and Jadeveon Clowney was my one guy that I had that I wouldn't pick up in free agency. He's gone now. He's off the market. But the tag doesn't necessarily mean that. As soon as the Kansas City Chiefs applied the tag to D Ford, they said, hey, guys, he's available. If you want him, come and get him. So of those people that are tagged, let's start with this first. With the people that were tagged, do you guys think there's anyone that the 49ers should be going after?
Well, definitely not D Ford because he got a non-exclusive tag, so that's going to cost us 2 first-rounders. Definitely not D Ford. I don't see us going after somebody who's gotten tagged because we can probably pick up a Trey Flowers for around $17.5 million. I think he wants is the ballpark of range that I've heard that he wants is the 17.5 to 18 million. You're going to pay more than that on the tag. So, well, depends on how many times they've been tagged. So obviously DeMarcus Lawrence, you're going to pay more than that because I think he's upwards of 20 million. It's first time for Frank Clark being tagged, so he's probably at that 17 million. And then you don't have to. You could probably get somebody on free agency and set your own terms, basically. So I wouldn't see us going after anybody that's tagged.
All right. And Tony, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be going after anyone that's tagged. I think we're in a good spot as far as our draft picks in the top 2-3 rounds, and I don't want to forfeit that for any of these guys that are tagged. I mean, Clowney's a good player, but there's a lot of inconsistent film on him where he takes a couple plays off. I mean, the one guy I kind of wanted to try to make a run at if he wasn't tagged was Clark, because I just think he's just like a physical explosive edge guy who really blossomed this year. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna make a run after any of those guys.
Okay, so we're going to move on from them. And I agree with you guys also. I don't think that we're looking to get any of those guys. But there's also a rumor going around. We're going to get to the little rumor part of this before we get to the linebackers, that the defensive end Michael Bennett is available. Is this someone that you guys think the 49ers should be making a run at?
No, I think no. I don't think so, Mike. I think they have their group for the interior. And I think we're just lacking the real true speed off the edge, especially going to the wide nine. I don't think Bennett could play the wide nine as an outside guy. Maybe he could be a rotational guy inside, but to pick that contract up and compensation to go along with it, I think we're pretty set inside. Maybe we could draft like a lower tier guy, maybe a 3-4 round, and maybe sign somebody like a tier 2, tier 3 free agent. Okay,
Nick, what about you, man? Any thoughts on Michael Bennett?
I don't think he would come here. Let me try to rephrase that. It's not that I don't think he would come here. I don't think the Niners will pursue him because he showed his unhappiness, him and Chris Long in Philadelphia, with being a rotational type player. He's going to want to go somewhere. He's going to want to start. Right now, I think that we can do better age-wise than Michael Bennett. And like Tony said, I think we have pretty much the interior guys. Yeah, so I don't think we make a run at Michael Bennett.
All right, that's cool. Now, I don't think so either. I don't think we're going to be looking at him. There's some other things that are happening, man. This is the time of year where the rumors are going to start flying, man. All right, so let's start with Everson Griffen now. Everson Griffen has been linked to the 49ers. I don't know who is starting this stuff. It's coming from all over the place. You got beat writers commenting on it and things like that. We got Odell Beckham Jr. talking about he wants to Odell Beckham Jr. Rumors flying around that the Niners are almost guaranteed to either get him or Nick Bosa. I mean, we have got some things to talk about before we get to the linebackers. This is a big rumor mill. We always discuss the newest news concerning the 49ers before we get to these things. So let's keep it. Yeah, got it. Let's keep this thing going. So let's start with Everson Griffen. All right. Now this young man, I'm saying young man, just turned 30, or he's 31 right now. He's coming off of an undisclosed injury, some mental illnesses and things like that. But the guy is disruptive. All right. So either one of you guys want to talk about it first? I mean, do you think you're interested in him? Why or why not?
I think, I don't know listen, he is a talented player when he's on. Clearly, mental health is a big struggle with America today. You know, I'm not knocking it. I'm not bashing him and saying he's a bad person because of his struggles or his inconsistent play is ridiculous. Listen, everyone suffers from some type of mental, whether it's depression or you just have a bad day. When you deal with somebody like that, man, it's like a light. You guys can see me right now, right? Now you can't. That could be his play. Okay, now you're talking about picking up a big contract and sending over compensation for that. Again, it's not a knock on his talent. It's more of, I just feel like the mindset's huge. If he's on, he could say he's on. He's been to rehab. He's been to treatment. Yeah, but then that one day he wakes up, it's off. I don't know what his contract is as far as what he has left on it, but I mean, I saw this first reported by Skull.com, I think, on Twitter. They tweeted it saying that Niners and Vikings negotiating for Everson Griffen. So I don't know how reliable that Twitter handle was. But, I mean, listen, there is good film on him. I know Scott was posting film on Twitter and in the room of a couple reps versus him versus Staley. when he's on, he's a tough son of a gun to block, man. But at age 31 or 32, he is now with a big cap number. I don't think that's the direction that the team maybe wants to go going forward. I think they're trying to get. I mean, listen, they could add a 30-year-old guy, but I don't know.
We'll get to him. I know who you're talking about, the 30-year-old. We'll get to him. All right, so Nick, man, your thoughts on Everson, man? I'm not gonna lie, man. I like him. I really like Everson Griffin, man. When he's on,
I am not trading for Everson Griffin, and the reason is one, because it's going to probably cost us a little bit to get him, and his contract is redonkulous of what's left. So 2019 he's owed 11 million, 2020 he's 13 million, 2021 he's 14 million, and 2022 he's 15 million.
So there's 4 more years?
4 more years on his deal before an opt-out. There is no way he's going to get cut. So if anything, if nobody comes up and takes that trade with them, he's going to definitely get cut. So there's no reason to go and trade for him. And the rumor out there was Matt Breida and a sixth, I think it was.
Oh, no.
I'm not giving up. You don't know. You have no idea what Jerick McKinnon's going to come back as. You have what you get out of Matt Breida if he stays like healthy consistently. There's no way. I probably wouldn't even give up just a sixth for him, just because of the contract. The contract, you're talking over 44, $45 million tied up in a 31-year-old guy. That just doesn't make team sense.
And it's not your typical 49er contract where there's team options or
no
outs or whatever. That's 4 years at those numbers for a 31-year-old.
He'll be 30. He'll be 35 he'll be 32 this year, and he'll be 35 at the end of the contract.
Yeah. Let's use some context. Yes, he will be 32 this year, but it's the end of December. Like it's the going towards the end of the season. So you're getting him at this 31 years old. And the other thing is, there were people. I'm not going to say any names. There were people I know who voiced their opinions on this show that wanted to bring Elvis Dumervil back at 35 or 36 years old.
Yeah, but he's not making $15 million a year.
That's what you pay for a good edge guy, though.
He wasn't making that much money.
But I'm talking about now. We have a guy who is outperforming an Elvis Dumervil, play in and play out. And now we don't want to pay that much.
Not last year he didn't.
And you can get a guy. What?
He had 5.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, in like 6 games.
No, he played more than that.
Maybe 8. He outperformed Elvis Dumervil in his 5.5 sacks. I promise you that. And he wasn't just situational. He was in there and making plays in the run game as well as in the passing game. But another thing that we have to keep in mind is everything that we're talking about, the mental health, the injuries, the age, and the ridiculous contract, you're probably going to get him on the cheap because I believe it was Nick that just said he's probably going to get cut anyway. So they'd rather get something instead of nothing at all, right? So a 6th-round pick and a player that is going to be at best rotational, that's not a bad give-off. The 49er fans get this thing in their head where, like, this is my player and he's ours, and no, you can't have him. Like,
right, but don't you think, and I don't mean to cut you off, but don't you think it would make more sense for us to wait and see if he's cut before we go and trade something? Because he's going to get cut. If they don't trade him, they're going to cut him because
I agree.
They save it'll only be $1.2 million this year, $800,000 and $400,000, and then 0 in 22. So that's a savings of 10.5, 13.1, 14, and 15.5. That's pre-June 1st if he gets cut. So that saves them cap space. So obviously he's going to get cut. Nobody's going to trade for that contract.
Right, but here's the difference, okay? Then all of a sudden, if this is a guy that you want, now you're into a bidding war for his services with another team. The trading, all that trading does is guarantee you that you get him. That's all. That's the difference. It's on how bad do the 49ers want his services. Okay, there's other positions out there that we're going to touch on also. There's other guys out there, I should say, that we can touch on also, but they're going to cost you similar money, and they might be 7 or 8 months younger than him. But, it is what it is. The thing is, how bad do you want his services? Are you willing to give up a 5th or a 6th round for a guy that you know is going to come in and produce?
Well, and that's what That's what I said. I would be probably open to giving up a 6, but I'm not giving a player of the caliber of Matt Breida, even though we have Jerick McKinnon here, I'm not still giving up a Matt Breida if that's the way a Matt Breida and a 6th-round pick for him.
You're not going to give up an undrafted free agent and a 6th-round pick to get double-digit sacks a year?
No, because Matt Breida was balling out last year, and he didn't even play a full 16.
He's never going to play a full 16 because he can't stay healthy.
Well, it was his first year with an ankle injury.
No, it was his second year. It was his second year.
No, with his injury. It was his first year with his injury.
He was injured in his first year also. He was in and out of the lineup also. But we also saw – this is what I don't get. All right, yes, Matt Breida did good. I'm not trying to diminish anything that he accomplished. But we also saw Jeff Wilson Jr. come in and ball out. We saw Raheem Mostert come in and ball out. We saw Matt Breida come in and ball out. We're getting Mostert back, I'm assuming. I don't know if they're going to bring him back, but that broken forearm thing, they might not bring him back. I'm not sure. But you have Jerick McKinnon coming back now also. You have Wilson under contract as well. And then we're not even talking about the free agents that they're going to bring in or the undrafted free agents. A lot of people are looking at Tevin Coleman as being one of the guys that the Niners are going to make a move after. There are other options. Matt Breida is nothing special that you have to just say, okay, no, we can't do it. He's just Matt Breida. He was an undrafted guy. Yeah, he came in, he was productive. That's cool. But everybody else also produces behind his line. We need edge. And now we're going to be like, no, not for our undrafted backup guy.
Because you don't know what – the only reason I'm saying no is because you don't know what you're getting from – Jeff Wilson can't hold on to the football. Jerick McKinnon hasn't been healthy. Raheem Mostert, you don't even know if they're bringing back. That leaves Matt Breida. That's it.
And Jerick McKinnon.
I said you don't know what you're getting from Jerick McKinnon.
And free agency and the draft. There's plenty of time.
Kevin Coleman's looking for over $17 million a year.
That's what he's going to ask for. If I'm his agent, I'm going to say my guy wants over $20 million a year. If someone's dumb enough to give it to us, then great. But odds are, as a running back, you're not going to get it. Le'Veon Bell is out there. Tevin Coleman's out there. He's not getting $17 million a year. They're not going to get those kind of numbers. They can ask for it all they want.
I think you're going to be surprised. I think Tevin Coleman gets paid.
And then here's the other thing, too. 2 of our running backs on this team were undrafted free agents. They're literally finding guys off the street and bringing them in here and making them produce. Matt Breida is not something that's irreplaceable.
Wait,
Coleman, like Everson Griffin, has a value. That's all I'm saying.
On RotoWorld, there was a post about Coleman saying that the Jets were interested in another team, and they figured his market value around $5 million.
Right. It's probably $17 million over 3 years or something like that. Yeah. But I can't see him asking for $17 million. But even if he is asking for that, like as an agent, you're supposed to try to get top dollar for your guy. Throw it all out there.
More money he makes, more money you make.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, so it's cool though. Like, and honestly, I don't know if I would trade for Everson Griffin. I just like playing devil's advocate. You guys know how I get down. But if it came down to an elite, what I project to be an elite edge presence and a 6th-round pick plus Matt Breida, they're out of here. That's just me. I'm Jeff Wilson. You guys know I like Jeff Wilson. He's out of here. These guys are replaceable, but that edge presence that we've been missing for so long here.
But let me ask you a question. When does that stop? Because you say everybody in our backfield is replaceable. So when does that stop? Because they're not all replaceable. So when does that stop? You have a gist against Jerick McKinnon. So you're going to keep a Jeff Wilson?
No, Jerick McKinnon is here. I didn't say anything about getting rid of Jerick McKinnon this year.
I just think what he's trying to say is that, in Mike's opinion, that Kyle Shanahan has so much faith and trust in Bobby Turner that he could take nothing and make it into something to produce in this scheme. I mean, and he's kind of showed it. Like, bro, let's be honest. Jeff Wilson, when he signed as an undrafted free agent, we were like, I didn't even heard of Jeff Wilson really when they announced signing him. I mean, once they announced him, I saw his video. I was like, oh, he's not bad. But going into the draft, who the hell's Jeff Wilson? There's just something with Bobby Turner. He's like a friggin' miracle maker with running backs.
Yeah, but you can't just put it all on the coach. These guys are talented.
Oh, of course they are. I mean
you
I'm not
can't.
saying they're not talented, but it's just I don't know their philosophy in that run game. I don't know. I mean, it's not like a strict. It's not a strict scheme. It's one cut, go. You see the hole, hit the hole. So I mean, look who they got Matt Breida. They spent money on McKinnon. Who else ran the ball? That kid Matthew Days ran the ball a couple times. You got Jeff Wilson. Mostert looked like a running back finally through with this scheme, with this staff.
Yeah.
There's a lot entailed to it. You need talent and you need coaching.
And to echo what Tony was saying specifically about Bobby Turner, the only running back that I saw come in here and didn't work out was the one that Kyle Shanahan wanted. Not the one that Bobby Turner wanted. Not the one that John Lynch wanted. It was the one that Shanahan said, I want that guy. That's the only one that didn't work out. And people, I'm about to say I'm going to say a name that's going to start in the chat and everything. But people, even Morris, even Alfred Morris came in and produced a little bit. Like we get production. You know exactly why I said that, Nick. But we get production from guys all over the place. There's no reason to be like, Breida is irreplaceable. He can't go anywhere. I'm not saying he's not fun to watch. I'm not saying he's not explosive. I'm not diminishing anything that Matt Breida brought to the table. But edge is something that this team has needed since 2013. We got to get it if it's out there, especially for a guy that's just rotational. I'm
probably gonna get roasted for saying this, but Bobby Turner did not get Carlos Hyde to produce. Neither did Kyle Shanahan's system.
He put up 989 yards or something like that. He was just under 1,000 yards. Oh no! Did he actually cross 1,000? I know it was the best rushing year for the Niners.
He didn't break 1,000.
It was his best year as a running back for the 49ers,
and was still getting replaced in crucial times.
And his only year being healthy all 16 games. Also, that's what they did with him. But there is another name that we need to discuss. We're going to move on from that. Everson Griffin was a fun little topic, but there's one more guy that's a little bit younger than Everson Griffin that is going to be released, and that is Justin Houston. Justin Houston is also an every down player, a little bit younger than him. You guys have opinions on Justin Houston coming out of Kansas City. Now, here's the idea behind what's going on there. They tagged D Ford. The Chiefs were deciding between these two guys, D Ford and Justin Houston. Justin Houston is older, and he's a 3-down player there. However, D Ford was younger, and he is the pass rusher guy. The Chiefs put up a lot of points, so they're going to be in those pass rushing situations a little bit more than they're going to be in their standard base packages, which Justin Houston would also play in as well. So what they did was they tagged D Ford. They immediately put him on the trade block, and I honestly think that what their plan is to if they can get Ford to go somewhere, then they want to bring Houston back because Houston is a little bit more scheme diverse. Houston is someone that they're not worried about playing in this new 4-3 scheme. However, they seem to be really, really concerned about Ford's ability to play in the 4-3 scheme. So, your thoughts on Justin Houston, guys? Either one of you.
I like Justin Houston. There's a couple question marks I have, and there's a couple negatives and positives. I like Justin Houston in the wide 9 because he has the potential to be a speed rusher, but also has a secondary move, which is huge, that we spoke about the other day when we talked about how they're going to implement the wide 9 system. The only question I have with him is his injury concerns. I don't think he's going to be able to go back to what I think it was 2000. What year was that? 14, where he had 20 something sacks. I don't think we'll get that type of production. But if they decide to bring him on, I think that he could definitely add to this defensive line. And now you also have a veteran to go along if we stick at 2 and grab Bosa. I think he could offer. He has something to offer this defensive line. The contract, I don't know how they would word it or the amount of money that you're looking at. But I think I would bring him on if the price is right and he checks out medically. The main concern is medical. Your best availability is being available. So if you're not available, no bueno.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. He hasn't played 16 games since 2014, that season with 22 sacks. Last year, he played 12 games. The year before that, 15. The year before that, just 5. The year before that, 11. And then you go back to 2014. But in that time, though, this guy is produced, man. He's causing fumbles every single year. He's getting the sacks, like you said, the 22, but he's got 9. He's got 9 sacks in his 12 games last year. He had 9.5 and 15 before that. He had 4 sacks in just 5 games before that. Like when he's out there, he's on, man.
He's causing problems.
Right.
And that's something we clearly don't have. Now, if you add him and he's flying off the edge in this wide 9, you got Buckner in the middle. So maybe he helps his sacks total go up from last year 12 to maybe 15 if you add somebody like that.
Right. So would you be interested in adding him?
I would add him if he checks out medically okay, and if the price is right. I could see doing an incentive deal, like a veteran minimum. Not a veteran minimum, I'm sorry. You start anywhere between 8 and 10. Maybe the max you go up is to 12, but that's kind of high for a 30-year-old. Come with injury questions. Do you know what his injury was last year by any chance?
I don't. Let me pull it up really quick. Let's see here. Justin Houston.
I mean, listen, we're desperate off the edge, and with Kosarik implementing this wide 9, you need guys bringing it off the edge. So I mean, it's almost like whoever's available, the team has to kick the tires on him and look at him, evaluate him, because we don't have nothing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It was a hamstring. Yeah, I just found. Oh, yeah, it's a hamstring. So, but he came back from it, finished off the season. So we'll see, man. Hamstrings are one of those things where, you feel a little shaky, especially when they get older about it. So we'll see. Nick, your thoughts on Justin Houston, man?
Only way I'm doing is he's going to want more than 1 year, but I mean, I would probably bring him in for a year. Basically, I know I can't say it's a prove it deal because he has proven things in Kansas City, but how much of that was because of what they had on that line? How much was it because of what they had on the opposite side? So to come here and be the guy, I guess you could say that about a lot of people. You could say that about Trey Flowers. You could say that about Houston. You could say that about Anthony Barr. I mean, there's a ton of people you could probably say it about, but hamstring injuries are not fun to NFL players. I mean, once you get a serious one and you miss a significant amount of time, I see them more and more. I mean, we see them here on our teams more and more of the hamstring over and over on the same guy. But I would probably bring him here for a 1-year deal, prove it deal, but I doubt he takes that. So I don't even really think the Niners go after him.
No, a guy with that many sacks is not looking to sign a 1-year deal anywhere. So I don't think that would appeal to him. But I would bring him in. I would absolutely bring him in. He's someone that, like I said, he can play in all three downs. He's someone that has a huge value on the team. Very disruptive, whether he's making a sack or hitting the quarterback or not. We just don't have that here. We haven't had that here, not consistently, and so we would definitely benefit from something like that. The money is, it's the money. Whatever, you got to pay for what you're getting. So I'm not opposed to it.
I could see a contract similar to when the Niners brought Kevin Green to San Francisco after Carolina released him. This was towards the end of his career. I believe he signed a 6-year, $88 million deal, which only turned out to be like a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with incentives. So, I mean, you might see if they do decide to make a move on him, you'll see oh my God, he signed for all that, but really it's this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all wording of the contract. Those numbers are.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff too, man. A lot of people see those numbers and they start flipping out. All right, so yeah, I think we all like Justin Houston as long as we're not breaking the bank on him. or strapping the team, which I don't think that the team would do anyway. Some other news coming out from our team and some more rumors that our punter, Bradley Pinion, will not be returning. How many of you guys shed tears when you heard that?
I didn't even hear that.
Oh, see, breaking news for Tony. We got to get like some kind of something. I don't know. We got to get some kind of sound.
I didn't even hear it either.
Oh.
I wasn't by my phone, so.
Yeah, man. They're saying that Bradley Pinion will not be returning as the punter. So we're going to be looking for somebody now, man. That's got me right here. You guys know how I felt about Bradley. I wanted him to do more.
You want a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, I wanted the 2-for-1 because he can kick field goals and he can punt. But hey, that doesn't mean that we're not going to do that. Doesn't mean we're not going to do that. Actually, yeah, it does because we already tagged gold.
Mike, was that reported by the team? Who was that?
I don't remember. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I don't remember.
Or Mayoko or something.
Let's see here. Bradley Pinion. Boom. But yeah, so I mean, Bradley Pinion. I should have went back to Twitter because that's where I saw it. But the team he had he's officially a free agent. So what are the odds of the team bringing him back now? How often does that happen, by the way? When a team doesn't bring someone back and let them hit free agency, how often does that player return to the team?
Well, if they announce it, none. If they just don't negotiate by the time free agent hits, there is a possibility. He might want to test the market and see what the value is, and then he'll go back to the Niners. I mean, I don't think this is compared to like a whatchamacallit situation with the Giants. Collins, what's his name? Collins, the safety. What's his name? Damn, bro.
Who was that?
What's the safety's name from the Giants? They're not.
Yeah, Collins.
Collins, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not like a situation like that where they flat out said, "Oh, we're not tagging you. See you later."
Okay, so I don't see it on Twitter. I might have broke news that I wasn't supposed to break. You guys ignore that for now.
Dude, I'm like searching all over the place. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I don't know if
the last article I found was February 4th, where they said they wanted to bring back Gold and Pinion.
Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to say that out loud. So we're going to skip over that. And if you guys end up hearing that later, exclusive.
Mike said it first.
I got to, oh man, I'm going to get in trouble for that one. All right, so let's keep it moving. There are some more rumors, guys. We're going to get to these linebackers. I promise you guys that. I got one more rumor in particular that I want to address. And this one I can talk about. I promise you. Charlie Casserly was on NFL Network, and he has confirmed that the Arizona Cardinals are indeed shopping their quarterback, Josh Rosen, around the NFL. Josh Rosen is not expected to return to the Cardinals, which indicates, and which means if you connect the dots, they are taking Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick.
Man, I hope Josh Rosen goes somewhere and blows up, bro.
As long as it's not the NFC West, I don't care.
He also, Charles Cashley also said that was from another team. It wasn't specifically from Arizona.
3 different teams he heard from that confirmed that the Cardinals are shopping that quarterback around.
That's insane.
Yeah. Forget all that. What does that mean for us, guys? This is exciting. This is great news. We were talking about, the Niners might need to trade up to get Bosa because the Cardinals can use them. You know what I mean? We were going through all this stuff, and now all of a sudden, boop.
It means that the weight of Levi Stadium and that facility is all on John Lynch's shoulder. That man, that pick is worth a ton.
All right.
But
go ahead.
There's a big but with this. He can't mess this up. Mm-mm. This is a big test for him. This is going to show, what this administration's made of. Him, Peters, Mayhew, Lynch, Shanahan, Jed York, what they want to do and how much they trust their staff. I mean, man, they're sitting pretty right now. They can get a boatload in return.
I think the most important man in the building right now is Chris Kosuric. Because if there's two things they can do. They can stay pat and they can get their guy. They can go and get Nick Bosa.
Which I think he's the number one player on their board. I really do.
Right.
The way he was talking at that combine, it screamed Bosa.
Right. So you can stand pat, you can get your guy. Or you can hope a team like the Raiders at 4 or the Giants at 6 want to trade up and get your guy and get their quarterback, because the Raiders are shopping Derek Carr. The Raiders have been rumored to wanted to they wanted this offseason to be Kyler Murray, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell. Those are the 3 players that the Raiders were all connected to. So with Kyle Murray being off the board, now they might be pressured and say, all right, maybe we got to move up and get Haskins. You know what I mean? So now how do the Giants feel? Do the Giants want to chance Haskins going past a team like the Raiders? Maybe they want to move up to number 2. What if the Niners want to do a trade? We've heard that it's either going to be our number 2 pick is either going to go towards OBJ or Nick Bosa. That's been the rumor. It's been a trade of the Niners give up the number 2 pick and the 6th for Antonio Brown, for Odell Beckham Jr. and the number 6 pick overall. Like, that's been the rumor. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, the number 2 pick overall and the 3rd or 4th for OBJ and the number 6 pick in the draft. So which of those 2 would you guys do? Because this is interesting. I want to know what you guys would do right here.
Man, I ain't answering that shit. No way.
No, come on, bro. You got Nick. You just stay pat. You just get Nick Bosa, or you trade back. You get Antonio Brown. Why do I keep saying Antonio Brown? You get Odell Beckham Jr. and the number 6 pick.
I don't know, Mike. I really don't. That is a tough call to make. We need both. We need a big play wide receiver, I think. I mean, we don't need it, but adding it would send this offense to the next level. We need a pass rusher. We've needed one since, Lord knows, since Aldon Smith. And think, who was our last big wide receiver? Terrell Owens.
All right. So look, you're the GM. Nick is gonna play Adam Peters. I'm gonna play Martin Mayhew. We're gonna discuss this and come up with a conclusion. So John Lynch is stuck right now, Nick. All right, you're Peters. Let's go. Let's talk about this.
All right, so the Niners need a top-notch. I understand we need draft or edge, right? This draft class is loaded with edge, whether it be Brian Burns, Farrell, I don't want to say this guy's name, Gary, but there are a ton of guys that will be there at 6 that you could still push and get somebody there. You could also go somebody like another need there, which by the time the draft comes, and I'm trying to sell this to you guys, by the time the draft comes, we already know what we've done in free agency. If we get somebody like a Trey Flowers or a Mosley or, somebody on the edge, preferably Flowers, I would be preferably with, because he's a top tier guy. I would think that he's a top tier guy. If we can land somebody in free agency, it's a no-brainer. It just doesn't even make it easy, because you trade the number 2 pick, you're dropping the 6, you're getting a hell of a receiver in OBJ, and at that 6th pick, you can either take a Devin White, which is like another position that we need, which is going to help that, or you can take a drafted edge guy who can learn from somebody else as well and progress through the years. He's not throwing right out there expected 10 sacks his first year. He can grow. So me personally, I would take the trade, get a free agent guy, take the trade at 2, get Odell Beckham Jr., get the 6th pick, and then with that 6th pick, I would either take, depending on what we did in free agency, an edge guy or a linebacker. Two big needs that we need at 6 right there. So you can still land a top 10 guy on edge or linebacker and move on. Because to me, you're getting more. You're upgrading. Let's say we draft Bosa at 2 overall. We don't pick till 36. That takes linebacker out. That takes the next edge guy out. like top 10 guys. So this way you're getting a top 10 player in OBJ, a top 10 player in whatever you draft, edge, linebacker, safety, receiver, whatever you want, you're getting a top 10 guy. And you're only moving down 4 spots. So you go hard after something in free agency. If that trade comes up, even if it doesn't come up in free agency, you still got to take that. You're getting 2 top 10 guys for the price of moving down 4 spots.
All right. Let me ask you.
Wait. I want. Go ahead.
You're Mayhew, right? So you're pro player personnel. He's college player personnel.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you is, who do we get in free agency?
You're asking me, right? Okay. This is what I wanted to play. This is the game I wanted to play.
Go.
All right.
Tell me who we landed.
So we have 2 different options here. We have 2 different options. Okay. We can go after Justin Houston.
Okay.
He's out there.
Okay.
We can give him the contract. He's younger. We can do that. The other option is this, who I think will be a good fit for us, Everson Griffin. It's going to cost us a little bit. He's going to be the veteran guy. There's no young guy that's out there that we can get, except for Flowers. But I think Houston will be more disruptive than Flowers will immediately. Okay? So we have 3 options here. But if we give up a little bit to get we give up some money, this cap that we have here for Houston, we bring him in here. We can do Houston on a 4-year deal. He'll be young enough to sustain the 4 years. He should be fine here. All right. He's 34 years old at the end of that deal. At the end of that deal. His birthday just passed 2 months ago. The end of that deal, he's 34. We do our thing. We let Prague over there work his magic with the contract. We have Houston here now. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to make this move. And then there's lower tier guys that we can still look at.
Okay. I want you to do me a favor, Mike. I want you to tell me the difference and give me 2 different situations with these 2 players. Houston and Preston Smith from Washington.
I don't think Preston Smith is going to demand or have the market that Houston will. Houston's going to be the top dog. Mm-hmm. There's no reason that we can't get them both. There's no reason that the Niners can't make a big move right there, then get a younger guy in Preston Smith. Now, Preston Smith played a different position technically than what we're looking for, right? But he can still be that edge presence with the speed and the bend coming out of the wide 9. He can still perform there for us. So
basically, you're telling me both these players will fit the wide 9 that we're trying to put in.
Yep.
Okay. What is the medical look on Houston?
His hamstring injury. He's been back since October from his hamstring injury.
No lingering side effects.
Huh?
No lingering side effects.
We haven't seen anything yet. Nope.
Nick, tell me the difference between Bosa. Tell me the difference between the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 6 players that are edge players in the draft that will be available, whether it's 2 or 6.
Well, we don't need 6 though. Let me just interject here really quick. We don't need, even though we're picking 6, we're doing this under the premise that someone is trading up from us for a quarterback. Okay, so picks 1 and 2 are gone, but now there's only 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's only 3 picks before us now. So you really don't need to know the top 3 edge guys and then what's left after that.
Well, I think the 3 players that'll be drafted in front of us is Bosa, Williams, and the kid from Kentucky. I'm drawing a blank.
Josh
Allen.
But not necessarily. Not necessarily. The Jets are picking there. The Jets are probably going to want to get an offensive lineman to protect their quarterback. They already got their quarterback of the future.
I think the Jets are going to trade out.
Okay.
I think the Jets are going to trade out. Someone's going to come up and try to get one of those top defensive players. Okay. So that's one of them off the board. Who's after the Jets?
Let me pull up the thing here. Let me pull up the draft order.
The Raiders.
The
Raiders are at 4.
The Raiders are clearly taking the best player available. Whether it's Haskins, the quarterback, whether it's Allen or whoever wasn't taken at.
Yo, you're throwing up all kind of crazy gang signs, bro.
No, I'm not. I'm doing this. No. So whoever was taken in front of them, they're taking the next player. I don't think they're moving down. They're taking the player there.
Probably Josh Allen. Josh Allen probably goes to the Raiders.
Okay, so now let's just say either Quentin Williams or Bosa is gone at the previous pick. Josh Allen's going to the Raiders. So that leaves either Quentin Williams or Bosa to who? Who's in front? Who's number 5? Is that Jacksonville?
No, Jacksonville's at 7, I thought.
Jacksonville's 7. Giants are 6. Who the hell is 5?
Is it Tampa?
Tampa. That's it. Tampa.
All right. So Tampa's at 5. What is Tampa's needs?
Oh, hold on. I got you. Tampa's needs are offensive linemen.
So that could be another trade up possible, or they take either that kid Williams, but his stock is on the fence. Taylor had an injury. Andre Dillard. I think that's too high for Dillard. If anything, I think the Florida tackle goes at that slot. So that leaves us with one of those defenders, Gary, the edge guy from Florida State. Polite, I think, is out of the round 1. That leaves us in a good position to still grab a defender.
There's still Farrell available.
Yeah.
There's Bosa or Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's Farrell, Bosa or Williams, Gary, even though we're on him.
Yeah.
And you already have Houston and Preston Smith.
The team needs that are listed for Tampa Bay is quarterback, offensive tackle, safety, linebacker, defensive end, cornerback, running back, and receiver.
You could see the kid from LSU go here.
But defensive end is not there. It's so far down the list.
No.
The LSU kid, the linebacker.
Devin White.
Yeah, right. He can go to Tampa. Because Quan Alexander's coming off with either torn ACL or torn Achilles, and he's a free agent. So now you have a hole in that linebacker core. So if they don't trade, they stay pat. This is probably where the linebacker's going to go, and that's going to leave us either Williams or Bosa.
It's not both. We're saying it's one or the other.
Yeah, Williams or Bosa. So now you have a shit. Damn, if that works out like that, wow.
Give it to come on, bro. You got Preston Smith, Houston, and Williams or Bosa. And you get Odell Beckham Jr. out of this. Come on. Come on.
Even if you take Bosa out of the equation, all right? Let's just take Bosa. You take Bosa and Allen out of the equation. Just say nobody trades. They just take Bosa and Allen. You got Josh Rosen going first. You got Haskins going 2. Then you got Bosa going 3. You got Allen going 4. Now you got Devin White going 5 to Tampa.
Wait. Why do you have the Jets taking a pass rusher?
Because I'm just saying, because it's their 2 best players. Just let's say they're both off the board. You're still going to end up with.
You still got Farrell.
You got Farrell, Burns, Sweat, like right there. There's three players that are top 10 available.
Yeah, but Sweat's not a first-round talent. At least I don't think he is.
But I'm just saying you have Farrell, and I'm not even gonna. I could say Polite, but Polite just screwed himself.
Burns. We'll throw Polite in here for now for the sake of this exercise. Quinnen Williams is still on the board.
Yeah, you still have Quinnen Williams, Burns, Farrell, Polite. What's the other pass rusher's name? Sweat.
Gary.
Rashawn Gary.
Bro.
I'm telling you, you guys better watch Gary, bro.
We're just saying who's left, like pass rush wise.
No, but what I'm saying is you better watch the Niners with Gary. That's all I'm saying. I have an odd feeling about this, bro. I really do. I do.
You're gonna tell me that they're gonna take Rashawn Gary if Bosa's there?
No, you said Bosa was off the board.
Right. You're saying watch the Niners. So we're speaking hypothetically.
If we do the trade, we get Odell and we go to 6. And it's between Farrell, Burns, Gary,
and Williams.
Huh?
And Williams. Williams is still there.
And Williams. If they draft Williams, Armstead has to go. I'm sorry.
Bye. See ya.
Yeah, but they're not doing that, Mike. That's what's scary.
Yeah, but they owe him $9 million. It gives whatchamacallit time to adapt.
Yeah, but think what you could do with that $9 million. You know?
But I've seen players get released once they draft somebody, so you got to sign the option because there's a deadline.
With that? Did they have to release him by a certain date to get that full $9 million credited?
What, is that the June 5th? What's the date for that?
No, I think it's April something.
It's before the draft or after?
I think
Probably
it's
before.
It's before.
That sucks. What you doing, GM? Come on. We need a ruling.
Pull the trade.
Yeah. This is when we all high five each other. We shake hands and everything.
No, it's only if we land one solid and one tier 2 pass rusher to this defense. It's on that condition. You're all right over there?
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man.
I'm not pulling that trigger, just picking up Justin Houston. Because now you're talking about a 30-year-old and you're bypassing an opportunity to get a young potential stud if everything works out okay.
Justin Houston.
There's got to be a foundation set in order to make that trade.
Justin Houston and Flowers, Justin Houston and Smith. There's options out there. The team can do it. The team can definitely do it.
Listen, if we don't land a second pass rusher, I have no problem rolling with Houston and Bosa. I don't.
I'm with it. All right, that was fun. Is there anything else that you guys have heard of that you guys want to discuss before we finally get to the linebackers? We've been on for a while now, and we got to get to linebackers, fellas. Is there anything else? I see Nick is looking up something over there. Anything worth sharing, bud? No?
The linebacker should be easy. There's only really one that's coming back.
There was another edge guy that I was looking at, and I couldn't remember his name. I was trying to figure out who it was.
In the draft?
No, in free agency.
I mean, there's a couple of them that are out there. Ziggy Ansah's still out there, and he's got familiarity with the team. Ziggy Ansah's still out there. There's another one, but people were saying they don't want Fowler. Donta Fowler's out there.
Oh, Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith. He's out there still. I like his name. All right, so there's
Trey Flowers, Smith, Preston Smith, Justin Houston, Bruce Irvin, Dante Fowler, Ziggy Ansah, Clay Matthews, Trent Murphy, Cam Wake, Terrell Suggs.
Well, we're staying away from Terrell Suggs. I like Cameron Wake as a cheap old guy too, though. But he's up there. He's like 34.
Yeah, but he worked with Chris Kocurek, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him on a one-year deal like we did with Elvis.
Yeah, with Dumerville. And so did Ansah. Ansah worked with Chris too. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. This is gonna be really good. But we have to get to these linebackers, fellas. I know this the big portion of the show is already done. We're gonna talk about these linebackers. We're gonna run through this really quick. Again, before we do that, Nick, was there anything else that you wanted to discuss before we start breaking this all down?
Well, Kenny just dropped $5 in the chat, so we got to see what he says real quick. Kenny, appreciate that, man. He says Bosa has about 1.5 years of tape as a defensive end. Why is he the number one player in this draft? Allen is way better and can learn a 4-3 plus coverage plays.
All right, so
I'm staying out of this. I'm staying out of this one.
Why? No, it's an easy answer as to why Bosa is seen as the top guy. So we're looking at film, we're looking at traits, we're not looking at production. Now production does have a weight, but you don't just go off of production, because if that was the case, Jamarcus Russell, Tim Tebow, these guys would have been Johnny Manziel, these guys would have been the greatest quarterbacks ever, right? Matt Leinart. Like, there's a reason you don't just look at production, you have to look at traits. And when you look at traits as a pure edge pass rusher, Nick Bosa has more moves. Nick Bosa has a higher floor than any other player in this draft except Quinnen Williams, but Quinnen Williams is not edge. And this entire draft, Nick Bosa's floor, he is the most NFL-ready guy at this very moment. And it's not even a question about it, except Quinnen Williams. All right? And then we hear all this that, Josh Allen's explosive, and Josh Allen is fast and all that stuff. But then when you look at the explosive drills at the combine, Nick Bosa measured better than him in all of them. 3-cone drill, the shuttle, and all. So that stuff right there,
split.
Though, yeah, the 10-yard split. Those are the things that you have to keep in mind. You know, you can look at a guy, you can really, really like a guy. Okay, Josh Allen could be the next. What's the Randy Gregory? Randy Gregory had all the traits coming out of college. What has he done in Dallas? Except, get in trouble. What has he done in Dallas, though?
He's produced over there. But I'm saying he has a lot of talent, but he hasn't done as much as he should have been doing. I don't know if it's because of his trouble when he couldn't stay, you know what I mean? But to me, it's just like, if you're going to draft a guy number 2 overall, he's got to have everything in the bucket, like right now. Like, you can't take 2 years to get him. And we've had this conversation about Allen all the time. Allen is a superb athlete. I mean, there's no denying that. The kid has quickness. He has a little bit of – he has power. He needs more handwork. Not saying that it's not there, but I just think, like Mike said, I think Bosa's floor is high, where Josh Allen's ceiling is probably higher. Because it'll just take him longer to get there. But Bosa is a guy at number 2, like you want, who's going to come in and he's going to produce right off the bat. He doesn't have to learn a new position. He doesn't have to learn different similarities of something that he wasn't used to playing in college. So it's just like, to me, I think Allen may end up having a better career than Nick Bosa overall. But I think Nick Bosa, for the first 5 years of his career, is going to be he's going to be what we need. Somebody that can come in here and produce right now. Not that Josh Allen won't produce, but it's going to be like that Ian Williams thing where it takes that 1 or 2 years to actually get going. So I think that's why.
And we're looking for consistency also. I think Nick Bosa, play in and play out, is going to be a little bit more consistent than Josh Allen. And it's not to say that Nick Bosa is going to have more sacks than Josh Allen will in year 1. But I do think that when you add up the pressures, the total pressures, and who's more consistent, I think you're going to see more from Nick Bosa straight off the bat. And just when I said Randy Gregory, I was talking about all the talent and everything. Randy Gregory has been in the league since 2015. He didn't play at all in 2017. So in 3 seasons, he's got a grand total of 45 tackles, 7 sacks. That's not putting it together, bro. Like, that's just, it's not it. Not everything that you see in college translates to the pro game. And Randy Gregory is the example I was trying to use of that. Tony, is there anything that you wanted to say to like differentiate between Bosa and Allen?
I mean, you guys pretty much touched on it. He's the most pro ready person in this draft, in my opinion.
On the edge.
On the edge, as long as he's healthy, there's no issues with the core surgery from the core surgery. I mean, you could tell in the combines the way he hits those bags with his hands, the swipe. It's just,
bro, his footwork, the footwork.
Yeah. No, I understand the footwork, Mike, but your hands are very important when you're playing in a wide 9. It's very, very important. I mean, listen, he's an all-around athlete. There's one thing I don't like about him. It's his frame. He's very, very like blocky and chunky, and I feel that that's what holds him back as far as speed. If you use more lean, like his legs are like tree trunks. But if you're looking for someone to step in right now, minus the injuries and the concerns, he's your guy.
I just don't understand why everybody keeps saying injury prone. Like, this guy had 1 major injury his whole career.
2, he had an ACL.
Yeah, but ACLs aren't nothing like they used to be.
No, you're right, but it still happened.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, everybody's like, I don't know. I just can't. I guess it's just our fan base, man. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I think Bosa is a better fit for us right now. Like, that's my honest opinion. Coming right out of the gate, I think he fills in nicely, jumps right in, and starts producing. Whereas Josh Allen will take a little bit to learn. And like I said, I think he may have a higher ceiling than Boza overall, but that is still to be determined. I mean, college and the NFL are two total different birds. You know what I mean? Let's get the linebackers.
Yeah, let's do this thing. All right, so we're gonna start this in alphabetical order. First up is a guy that we didn't get to see a whole lot of last year, and that is Brock Coyle. Brock Coyle is 28 years old, and he will be one of those guys. Come on, Poppy. He'll be one of these guys that the team is looking forward to coming back and helping at a very key position, that linebacker position on the inside. He'll probably line up at will. Your guys' thoughts on Brock Coyle? Are we bringing him back? What do you guys think? I know Nick likes to pull up the contract information. I pull up the PFF stuff, and we're going to talk about it.
He's under contract. He'll be back. He'll be given an opportunity to compete. But I think the team definitely adds one, if not two players to this linebacker core, whether it's free agency or draft. And from there, I don't know if he makes the 53, depending on who's added and how they perform.
I do think that, just so we're clear, when we're gonna get into this, but I think there's going to be a lot of shakeup at this position group. A lot of shakeup here between free agency, people wanting us to bring in Mosley. You know what I mean? People wanting us to draft somebody. There's going to be a lot of shakeup at this position, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Nick, your thoughts on Brock Coyle? Brock?
Look, I like Brock Coyle, man. I really do. I think he is a legitimate guy who can back up and play. He's not a, let's say, how did I say this with Pearson he's not a liability. I don't think he's a liability as much as something else is. I think Malcolm Smith getting paid as much as he is, I think he's a Brock Coyle. Like, that's what I really think Malcolm Smith is. Brock Coyle, to me, and his salary is not much. This year he's making $2,050,000. Next year he's making $2 million. So he gets a $50,000 workout bonus both years and $400,000 per game roster bonus. And he's only a $3 million hit on the salary cap this year. Or I'm sorry, 2.825 salary cap hit this year. So really, if you cut him pre-June 1st, you're saving $1.4 million, or that's dead money you're losing, and 1.425 of savings. So why not have a liable backup who can step in and maybe cut somebody's bigger contract like a Malcolm Smith?
All right. I'm not sure if I would rather have Brock Coyle over Malcolm Smith in general. I'll talk about Malcolm Smith when I get there. I'm not going to say it right now, but it ain't all right. So Brock Coyle played in just one game for us this year, apparently, and that was week 1, and he got injured in that game, and we never saw him again. So I won't go off of his PFF grades for this year because that's not quite fair. But he has been someone who has been a decent tackler his entire career, but that's really about it. His defensive grades have been anywhere from 65.8 to as low as 28.0. His run defense, that's pretty much where his bread and butter is. 67.6 is his high, and his low is 38.0. And now when he came, his tackling has always been pretty good. As a rookie, it was 85.9, his grade on PFF. His second year was 82.5. His third year, 86.5. When he came to San Francisco, don't forget, this is when everyone forgot how to tackle. This is when we couldn't they were emphasizing fumbles so much that we didn't force anything and stuff like that. So this is 55.5, and then last year with just the one game, he had a 25.0 grade, which isn't good. I think that you start with a 25.0 or something. Pass rushing, his pass rush grades weren't too great. His high in his career is 59. His low is 50.9. So he's pretty consistent with that. Hold on one second. Let me. Damn dog is chewing up a baby toy. Sorry.
Mike, what's coverage? What's his coverage grades?
His coverage grades are really all right. So with the 49ers last year, he had a 50.7. What is that? I'm hearing echo.
Huh?
I'm hearing feedback. His coverage grade last year with the 49ers was 50.7. But when he came from Seattle, it was 64.4 in 2016 and 55.1 the year before that. And in 2016, he played a lot for Seattle because they had injuries at their will linebacker position. So he played, or I think he played, I can't remember where he lined up for Seattle, but he played a lot. He finished that year with like 100.
He played Will for KJ Wright.
Right, there you go. Yeah. So he's had to do a lot of work. He's had to do a lot of work with Seattle, and he came in and played with the Niners. He's just a guy. He's just a guy, in my opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's great, but he's a guy. So do I think he's going to make the roster next year? I'm going to say no. I'm going to hope that the Niners make enough upgrades that Brock Coyle does not make the team. It's nothing against him, but I'm going to flat out just say no. I don't think he makes the team. What do you think there, Tony?
I agree. I mean, if he makes it, I think he makes it as a special team depth. Because when we get further down this list, I don't think the one guy that was known for special teams is going to be on the roster anymore. I mean, I like Coyle. I'm pulling for him, but I think he had a pretty serious injury too with his neck, if I'm correct. But yeah, I mean, listen, it all depends on what we do in free agency and the draft. His one knock on him, I remember watching the games when he was in there this year, last year. He wasn't the greatest in coverage, and he got exposed a little bit because the coordinators used to attack him. But his tackling is great, and his run defense is pretty good.
He was sidelined week 1 with a concussion.
Oh, it was a concussion.
I don't know why I'm hearing so much feedback from you now. But yeah, he had a concussion in week 1, and he was able to bounce back from that. All right. So we're going to move on to the next guy here. The next guy on the list in alphabetical order by first name is Elijah Lee. Elijah Lee was somebody that was a lot of fun to watch last year. It was like a big learning experience for him and for us. He finished the season with 54 tackles. He had 11 assists, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. So, Tony, what were your thoughts on Brock Coyle last year? His second year with the Niners.
Coyle or Elijah Lee?
My bad, Elijah Lee.
I'm a big fan of Elijah Lee. I feel like this defense improved immensely once he came in and teamed up with Warner on the inside. He hustled, man. He balled out. He's always flying around near the ball. He's a little undersized. He's actually smaller weight-wise. He's lighter than Warner. I think he's the same height, 6'3". I mean, he gives 100%. He's always flying around the ball, like I just said. I mean, I like him. I want him to come back. And listen, I've been listening to people saying that he's a sleeper candidate to be a starter for the 49ers at the will. That's how highly they looked at him and his play. The defense in my opinion, the defense took a step up with him on the field rather than the other individual that was playing the will. Yeah, but I think he will get a very strong opportunity to make that 53. Might not be as a starter, but I think he will make the 53.
All right, Nick, your thoughts on the man, Mr. Lee.
I liked Elijah Lee. And that was going to be the other thing I was going to talk about with Coyle is because they're kind of, I don't want to say they're the same type of player because Elijah Lee's better in coverage than Coyle is. But I thought Elijah Lee played okay. I don't think he played great, but I think he played okay. He is a free agent this year, right? He's a free agent this year.
He's restricted, but the team's gonna. I read that they're re-signing him. They're bringing him back.
Yeah, I mean, he's a depth guy. I don't see a problem with bringing Elijah Lee back.
All right, so PFF has him graded really high in certain games. His best game of the year, according to them, was the week 1 against the Vikings. He had an overall grade of 90.4. That's an elite grade. His run defense was 72.7. His tackling was 76.3, and his coverage grade was 79.5. Like, whew, we get that kind of production out of him consistently. That is really good. He's a good tackler overall. He had one bad game, according to them. That was the Denver game. But other than that, this guy has been all over the field, and he's playing really, really well. Like Tony said, he's probably going to be a sleeper guy for someone who can go ahead and get in there and start next to the rookie, Fred Warner. So I'm really, really interested to see what he can do there. He's even someone who contributes on special teams. He plays on the kick coverage teams. He plays on the kick return teams. He's got a place here with the 49ers. I think they definitely bring him back. He's only 23 years old. And, 7th round pick by the Vikings. Bring him back one more time. I like Elijah Lee. All right. Anybody else want to touch on him really quick before we keep it moving? No? All right. Next up on the list is Mark Nzaucha. All right. These guys, by the way, the 49ers, check this out. So we got Brock Coyle coming in at 6'1", 245, right? Elijah Lee was 6'2", 229, and Mark Nzaucha is 6'3", 240. They're getting bigger and bigger, right? But Mark has been in the NFL since 2015. The last 2 seasons he's been with the 49ers. The 2 seasons before that he was with the bum-ass Cowboys. He finished last year with 17 tackles, 5 assists, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. All right. So, guys, break it down. Give me your thoughts on Mark Nzaucha.
I'll pass. I think he was exposed when they went bases to Sam. Teams were running right at him. He was out of position quite several times. I mean, I'm not questioning his effort. I'm just, there's a difference between effort and skill set. If your effort's poor, then your play is poor. But if your effort's high and your skills just can't match your intensity and the effort, I mean, listen, I think he's 28 years old. Give me 1 second. He's not even on here. No. But if I'm correct, I think he's like 6'3", 6'4", 2. How old? 28?
29.
He's 29. He's only been in the league for 4 years. Yeah. No, I think he's going to be off the roster. And the only reason why he was in contention for a Pro Bowl special teamers is because allegedly Germany was blowing him up on Twitter voting for him.
Yeah. An entire country got behind this dude and was voting like crazy to get him into the Pro Bowl. So that's what happened there. Nick, your thoughts on Mark?
All right. So, I mean, I think I agree with Tony here. He was definitely out of position a lot last year. He wasn't one of those guys that kind of stood out. I think he makes the team. I think he makes the team through camp. Like, this is what we're talking about. So through camp. Actually, I think he's a free agent this year, right? He's another free agent. So he might not even be here for camp. Depending on what we do at linebacker position in the draft and free agency. If we can get a good guy like Anthony Barr or somebody like that, I definitely don't see him coming back because he's just going to take up a roster spot. So I mean, I don't see him coming back.
All right. So I agree with you guys. He won't be back. All right, he doesn't have anything positive here on PFF. Let me pull up his special teams grades really quick because I do want to give him a shine. Shout out to the people over in Germany too, holding him down. His best game on special teams was against the Rams in Week 7, where he finished with an elite grade of 90.5. But he's also been on the exact opposite end of the spectrum against Seattle, where he had a grade of 28.8. He's just, yeah. That's really all it is. But a lot of people got hyped on him for being this Pro Bowl alternate, and they didn't understand why. Like, fan voting does make a big difference in all that stuff. And so, you gotta keep that in mind. And like Tony said, Germany rallied behind him. His overall grades last year weren't anything to write home about.
You said he scored a 90 in the Week 7 Rams game?
Special teams.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that was probably like the only tackle that was made that game because that's the week we got blown out.
Yeah, that was ugly. No, it was only a special teams grade. Defense, he finished with a 53.1. Run defense, it was a 54.8, and his coverage grade was 48.3. Again, he's not coming back, guys. I wouldn't waste the time, money, or energy on him. No offense to him, but 29 years old. Good luck out there somewhere, buddy. Hope you can make it. All right. Next up on the list is James Onwualu. Say that 3 times real fast. No, really, no. But James is coming here. He only played 1 game. He had 2 tackles and 2 assists and a forced fumble. So why is it everyone seems to have a forced fumble with the 49ers? We didn't get any turnovers last year. Like, what is going on here? Where did all these forced fumbles come from? And no turnovers. He was with the Rams the year before that, and he didn't have any forced fumbles. So what's up, guys? Any opinions on the young man? 24 years old, 6'1", 235 pounds from Notre Dame.
No, I don't think he comes back. I think he was just he was brought to the team because I believe he came from San Diego, had scheme familiarity, and he filled in, I think, for who got hurt? Was it probably Malcolm Smith when they were down to like bare bones going towards the end of the season. I know Coyle was out, Malcolm was out, Dakota Watson was out, so they added him to the roster the latter part of the season to just fill out a roster spot. I mean, I don't even recall seeing him on the field. Maybe he had a couple special team plays, but I don't think he'll be back.
I concur.
I honestly feel that this position group, is probably going to be the most overturned. I think Mike said it, from top to bottom. Honestly, the safest guy on this group going off this is probably Fred Warner. And after that, I think everybody's replaceable. And, I mean, maybe they might keep Peter T around. But as far as Fred Warner, that's the only lockout of this position group that's going to be back.
There are no grades. My man did not qualify for any grades all season, so he's out of here. Get him out of here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Tony, yeah, you're right, bro. I don't think a lot of people are coming back, except this next guy. This next guy I do definitely think is coming back, and we're almost done already. This is Malcolm Smith, our stud linebacker, baby. The man. He is the dog holding us down in the middle over there, coming in at a whopping 6 foot even, 225 pounds. All right, this savvy veteran has 9 years experience in the NFL. He'll be here 29 years old, coming from USC. He has played with the Seahawks for 4 years. He played with Oakland for 2, and here he is now with the 49ers. That doesn't seem right. Why is it not 1, 2, 3, 4? All right, that's what it says. How was that 9 years? Anyway, going on his 9th season, coming back with the 49ers, is Malcolm Smith. He finished last year with 22 tackles, 13 assists, and guess what? 0 forced fumbles. That's right. Onwualu was better than him at forcing fumbles.
I think that he's as good as gone unless they fail to address the position. But, I mean, the guy's made a boatload of cash doing absolutely nothing.
Nick, I know you like to pull up the contract information over there. I think he's safe because of his contract. I'll talk about his performances and things like that, but I think he's going to be here because of how much money he made. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to cost like $5 million to cut him or something like that. I think this is the year that he's got a $5 million cap hit.
I think if they do it post June 1st, they get more money back. Before June 1st, they get less and more on the negative side.
Okay. All right. We'll have
All
to
right, so
where the hell? Wait. Hold up. Is that a car behind Tony? That wasn't there the whole time, was it? Where the hell did the car just pop up in the screen?
It's been here the whole time.
Oh, okay. My bad. All right, go ahead, Nick.
all right, so Malcolm Smith's contract this year is 3.75, so 3,750,000 per game. Roster bonus is 250,000. Workout bonus is 50,000. Cap numbers 5,418,000.
Hold on. This feedback is going. All right, go ahead.
Cut pre-June 1st. Dead money would be 4,200,000, and cap savings of only 1,218,000. If we cut post June 1st, it's 1,400,000 dead money and 4,018,000 of cap savings this year.
All right. So, are you bringing them back?
I mean, it really depends on what we do in free agency, but it's not that I want him to come back, but I just think the team is going to bring him back. Like, I don't think I don't want him here, obviously.
What did you say the dead money was post June 1st?
Dead money post June 1st is 1.4 million.
Oh, his ass should be gone. But not if you like PFF. Wait till you guys hear this. According to PFF, he had a coverage grade of 52.5, but he didn't drop back in coverage enough to register. So we don't know where that would have ranked him. However, his run defense, he ranked 74th. And according to PFF, that was good for 18th in the league at the linebacker position. His overall defensive grade was a 63.4, and that was good for 53 in the NFL out of all linebackers.
So what does that tell you? Please, with this PFF.
That tells you that we don't know what we're looking at, and PFF is keeping it all in track for us. That's what we need. PFF breaks it all down for us. So that's why we have this wonderful information here at our fingertips. So that way they can let us know that what we see is not correct. We're looking at it the wrong way. Malcolm Smith is a stud. And if this guy is the 18th best run-stopping middle linebacker or linebacker in the NFL, you got to bring him back, man. That's that's what got him that MVP in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Look, you're talking all that trash right now. I need to talk some good stuff real quick because Kenny just dropped us another $5. And appreciate it, Kenny. He says, look how much time and effort us Niner fans put into our team. I love it. Best fan base in NFL, hands down. Let's go 49ers. So while you're talking trash, I'm bringing in some good news.
I'm telling you guys what PFF is telling me.
No, I know. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying you're speaking PFF trash.
Okay. All right. Malcolm Smith also missed a number of games also. He wasn't available for week 1 or week 2, and then he missed week 14 as well and week 16. So he's got 4 games off of his list here. He played in 12. I'm not bringing him back personally, but we'll see what happens, man. I have a thing with John Lynch and Seattle players, and he is addicted to them. He's addicted to them. So Malcolm Smith might be back. It would make a lot of sense to cut him post June 1st, but I don't know if that's going to happen for sure. So we're going to keep it moving. We're going to go from the M's to the J, from the P's, from the M to the P. Our next up is going to be Peter Talmupinu. All right. Now, this guy had a lot of like hype coming around him when Elvis Dumervil was here. His rookie season, Elvis Dumervil was supposed to take him under his wing and, you know, show us what he could really do and who he could be. And we didn't get anything from him. We didn't get anything from him at all. So I want to ask you guys what your thoughts are on Peter. He did come in. He did have a big play in the NFL season last year. I don't know if you guys remember it or not. I remember it, but I'll give you guys the floor first. Give me your breakdowns of Peter Tomlinson.
I think Peter T will come back. I think they're going to give him an opportunity to play on the defensive line, not as a Sam linebacker, in this wide nine. If my memory calls correct, I think actually Utah played a wide nine as their base front in their defense. If I'm correct, I can't recall, but he's the type of guy that could flourish in the wide nine because he does have power and he did show that he has speed. But I think this is probably his last opportunity. If he doesn't make it this time, it's pretty much done. But I personally would like to bring him back and give him an opportunity with this defensive line coach. See if he can light a fire under his butt and get the best out of him.
All right. We only got to see him for a short stint, man. Week 14 against the Broncos and week 17 against the Rams. What were your thoughts about our outside linebacker or whatever you want to call him?
I like Peter T, man. He's really laid back too because I met him when I was in California. Really, really cool dude. But besides the fact of him being a really, really cool dude, I just think he hasn't really had an opportunity. And I think that, you know, what Tony was saying is experimenting a little bit with him. It's not so much experimenting because, like you said, in Utah, they used a more of a wide nine and base. I think to look for him to be playing in that wide nine more up on the defensive line. He has the build. He's not too small. He has some speed. So maybe he's learning some different things. But yeah, I mean, I would bring Peter T back. I think he deserves a chance, just like when we talked about Ronald Blair. I think they all deserve another shot. If we can get this defense to where it's a rotational piece type thing, and we don't, you know, obviously we're going to lose some talent when you rotate, but it's just going to keep us fresh. And I would definitely bring back Peter T.
Okay. All right. The one big play I was talking about was at the end of the season. I believe it was the Rams game. It might have been
the special team.
Yeah, it was on special teams. No,
it was against Seattle.
Was it Seattle?
Yeah, the ball bounced and then bounced up into what we call hands. Yeah,
pick it up, and Peter flattened this dude, man. Holy smokes, man! I was like, oh yeah, bring the wood, baby. No pause necessary. Stick it to him, baby. And I was hyped. I was over here like, let's go. Come on, baby. Let's do this.
That was the first Lockett.
Yeah, it was on Lockett. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I was hype over here, man. And that was that's why I've seen it so much, because I watched that game. That was the game we won. But yeah, so that was like the biggest thing that he did that year. Overall, like I said, he only played on the defensive side of the ball in the two games that I mentioned before, the Broncos in week 14 and the Rams in week 17. His coverage grade was a 64.9, which actually isn't that bad. Now you got to keep in mind that he didn't qualify. He didn't take enough snaps. So it's a very, very small sample size. But 64.9 was his coverage grade. His run defense was a 59.2. And his overall defensive grade was a 63.2, all of which would have been average if that was over the course of a season. So maybe Nick is on to something with he needs a little bit more time, or, you know, a couple more snaps. He's put on a lot of weight. I'm wondering now if they want to take the weight off because we're going to get back to this wide nine and try to be a little bit more of a speedy guy. He's basically 25 years old. And we'll see what we can get out of him. He's in here donning Ahmad Brooks, excellent, number 55. So let's see what we can get out of Peter. Bring him back for one more year. If nothing else, you know, we'll let him go. Then I think he's got 2 more years under contract this year and next year, if I'm not mistaken. So
I'm surprised you didn't read into it when he cut his hair and said fresh start. I'm surprised you'd be like, oh shit, he about to do something different this year.
Yeah, no, I don't care about that kind
he got his hair cut.
I'm growing mine out. He's cutting his. He's a punk. No, I'm kidding. I don't want no smoke. That dude's got biceps bigger than my head, so I don't want.
He's actually pretty damn big. In person. I didn't realize he was that big.
He's a big dude, man. So I'm hoping to see some good things from him, though. Like I said, I want one more year from him. It just really was discouraging that the Niners needed so much help at edge, and he just couldn't get in there. I didn't understand that at all. Like, it was just mind-boggling to me. I don't know. But let's keep it moving. We got two more guys to break down. This has been a long episode. We are on to Fred Warner here. Your guys' thoughts on the rookie that came in here, and I can tell you guys that he had some ups and downs. There was some games where I'm like, oh, we did it. We got one. There's other games like, Fred, what the hell are you doing? So I can't wait to hear what you guys think about the rookie, Fred.
I mean, yeah, he had some up and down years, but his upside is so high. In what he can do in this league. I mean, he played like that hybrid type linebacker position. Obviously we got him in the draft later. But I mean, the upside is there. I mean, his head is on straight. It looks like he has a very good football mentality, meaning he wants to learn. He puts a lot of work in. For his first year, I mean, up and downs you're expected, bumps and bruises, whatever you want to call them, potholes, whatever. They're there, but they're to be expected. I see more upside in this kid than I do any other linebacker on the team. I think he has that potential to be really, really good. It's just so sad that we couldn't had him and Ennis on the same in the same backfield, as in for the rest of the year, for them to just grow and mend together, because they would have probably been a really, really good duo. But I like the leadership that this kid has. He came right in. He took over the mic. He was calling plays. There were some things that, you even heard Shanahan say, or Robert Saleh say that, there were times where he was completely confused, but just took over and just did what he needed to do. And that's what you look for out of a young linebacker. And the upside's way higher than I thought that it would be with him. And I'm excited to see what his future holds.
All right, Tony.
This was my guy last year. I remember when he got drafted. And I said, Mike, did they just say Fred Warner? And you said, yeah. I said, that's my boy, yo. That's the guy. Very high on him coming out last year. He made a major step from playing at BYU up into the pros. Clearly two different levels. Was given a challenge, took it by the horns, had his ups and downs, like you guys said, but rose to the challenge. He had a major responsibility wearing the green dot, calling the plays of the defense, proved that he could handle it. But there's a big difference. There's a big gap in speed and talent from BYU to the NFL. So, I mean, for his first year as a third-round pick out of BYU, I think he played well. Better than I thought. I mean, he didn't have a perfect year by all means, but he proved that the game wasn't too the game wasn't too big for him, and it wasn't like he was out of place. Missed a couple tackles, couple assignments, but overall, very glad we drafted him in the third round, and he's a building piece for this defense going forward.
Absolutely, man. He had a lot of responsibility thrown on him, like Nick was saying. I remember falling in love with his versatility coming out of BYU and everything, and I was like, oh, this guy's going to be special. He's going to be really, really special. And it kind of showed on the field, like I said, in flashes. There were games where he was just excellent. He was all over the place. He was instinctive, fast and quick to the strike point, good tackling and everything. But then there were other times where it was like, come on, man, you got to make that tackle. I can't believe you let that go. Looked like there were times where he was just afraid. And it wasn't just like, a random time. It would be for a couple of series in a row. Looked like he was like afraid to make that full contact. I don't know if he was battling some kind of injuries that we didn't know about, undisclosed injuries, but overall, I think the 49ers have a good player in him. He was not shy at all. One of you, I think it was Nick, mentioned the leadership aspect, how he just stepped right in, put the green dot on his helmet, and was ready to go. The 49ers desperately wanted that position for Reuben Foster. Foster just could not do it. And this guy didn't show any signs of hesitation. He didn't make it a big deal, or I'm doing what Foster could do. In fact, when he was asked about the difference between the two positions and things like that, he made it a point to kind of stand up for Foster. He was like, oh, it's kind of the same thing. It's not that big of a deal, but they want me to do it, so I'm going to do it for it. Like, he didn't downplay it. He didn't put his teammate down when he had the opportunity to not necessarily put him down, but at least bring himself back up. he downplayed his significance in the scheme. And that goes back to the leadership and the responsibility that he's going to bring into this locker room as someone who's just 22 years old. It's freaking amazing, man. His grades for PFF. His coverage grade was 67.7, which was 24th amongst all linebackers who qualified. His run defense was a 62.8, which was 54th amongst all qualifying linebackers. And his overall defensive grade was a 63.9, which was exactly 50th. Now, before you hear 50 and you think that, man, he's not that good, keep in mind that between all the teams in the NFL, there's at least 2 linebackers on the field at every position. Okay, at all times. So sometimes there's 3. You know, it depends on what you're running, what scheme you're running, right? Actually, there's 3 on the field at all times, right? At least 3. Some teams use 4 of them. Other teams use 3 of them, right? So we're looking at 96 potential guys, and he's right there at 50 in his rookie year overall, according to PFF. I think that's pretty good for a rookie, and the ceiling is only going to get better. There was a lot of turmoil, a lot of disruption going on around him at all times. No one could stay healthy behind him. In front of him was okay. To the sides of him, no one was staying healthy. The safeties, the secondary was all in shambles. The defensive line was actually a strength of ours this year as far as health goes, and he's going to be okay. His partner, whoever was playing next to him at any given moment, it was anybody. He seemed to be the only constant player at that position there at the linebacker core. So I really like him. I'm looking forward to seeing him more.
Imagine trading that number 2 pick, getting OBJ and dropping to 6 and getting Devin White to pair next to Fred Warner.
That would be badass, dude. That would be badass. Oh my God, that would be dope. But don't play with my emotions right now. I can't deal with that. Our residential GM did decide that we're gonna do it. We're gonna trade. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait. All right, we got one more guy, guys. All right, this last guy is special teams ace, and when he came back, he made his presence known right away, and that was Dakota Watson. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about him because he's someone that I was torn on at one point. I was like, all right, he's just somebody, and then you see him out there, and it's like, oh, he's back. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Dakota Watson. Can't hear you. Hello.
I think Tony hit the wrong button and dropped out instead of the mute button. I don't mind Dakota Watson as much, man. Like, I think he's okay. I mean, it really depends on what we do in free agency and the draft. As to me, okay. No, I mean, if we don't address linebacker heavy in the draft and free agency, I could see Dakota coming back. So I wouldn't be mad at it because he plays special teams too. So I wouldn't be mad at it. We can't get rid of all the linebackers that play special teams, because you're still going to need them there. So if any, I'd rather keep Dakota Watson on the roster. So overall, probably Dakota Watson, Elijah Lee. But yeah, I don't see a problem with bringing Dakota back.
All right, Tony, your call, man.
I think Dakota comes back. He demonstrated last year that he still has the explosiveness off the edge, but he got hurt again and was IR'd. I think we're going to keep him on the roster until we get through not the offseason, free agency, then draft, and then the decision will be made then. If it comes down to where they add 2-3 players via free agency and draft, and they want to keep an undrafted free agent guy going on the 90 going into training camp, I think he could be expendable.
Yeah, he was someone that was a lot of fun to watch when he could play. I mean, I remember when he came back his first game, I think he had like 2 sacks that first game back, right? And people were going crazy. If it wasn't 2 sacks, he definitely got 1. And then like people were just like excited about watching him being out there playing. And then he had a couple of big hits on special teams as well. And you don't often see guys 30 plus still running out there on the kick teams, on the coverage teams, the special teams. That's what he was doing. So I really like him, man. I really, really like him. So let's talk about his grades here really quick. I want to start with the Oakland game. All right. The Oakland game was the first game that he played in. That was week 9. He had an overall defensive grade of 91.8, which is elite in PFF. His pass rushing grade was 90.8. That was where he came in and got the sack, the 2 sacks that game. And he had a lot of pressures, 4 hits that game. He was a monster in that game. He had a tackling grade of 72.4, run defensive grade of 66.2. He had 2 stops, stopping whoever he was tackling short of the line of gain. He was just a monster in that game, and that was hands down his best game. Also, Nick Mullins' first game, his first game back, had the freshest legs on the field, even though he was probably our oldest player out there on the defensive side of the ball. So, again, I just like what I saw from him. I wouldn't mind bringing him back. I don't know if they're going to do it. If they don't do it, it's probably going to be due to age overall. But he was a fun person to watch while we had him. His overall grades for PFF last year, I don't think he qualified. I have his grades here, but let me go to the page that shows if he qualified for everything. All right. So this says, no, he didn't qualify for anything. His coverage grade, he finished with a 60.0. His pass rush grade was a 66.3. His run defense was a 62.3. And his overall defensive grade was a 69.4, which is kind of weird. You don't usually see a player get bumped up when none of their, like, his overall grade was a 69.4. None of his other grades were that high. None of them. He had a 66.3, which is his highest, and that was pass rush. So it's interesting to see that kind of grade there. I don't know if that's a flaw in the PFF system, and that can't be. So I don't know. But yeah, so I wouldn't mind him coming back. However, I don't expect to see him back. And that's really it, guys. That is all of our linebackers here.
He's still under contract he's only 1.4 million, I think he makes this year.
He's got one more year or two.
2019 is his last year.
Oh, I thought okay, I thought it expired 2019. That's why I thought he was. I didn't know if they were going to bring him back. Okay.
No, yeah, he's 31 years old. His base salary is 1,450,000. Prorated bonus of 333. Well, 333,000. Per game roster bonus 200,000. Workout bonus 50,000. He's only a cap hit of 1.8. And if we cut him, we save 1.5, and dead money is 333,000. So
1.8, 1.5, 300,000 left over. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably, I mean, for special teams wise, it's probably good to keep him on the roster. And he may also be able to play that wide 9 also from that defensive end position.
He looked good, man. I just don't know if he can sustain it over the course of a full season. He looked good in that week 9 game. I'm going to watch the Raiders game tonight when I go to sleep just to see him come out there kicking ass, man. Him and Kung Fu guy were a lot of fun to watch that game. Cassius Marsh. They were a lot of fun to watch that game.
Kung Fu fighting.
Yeah, my man doing the little kicks and everything. It was a lot of fun. So, guys, that's really it for me. I don't have much else to talk about. This was a fun episode. I think we had more fun in the beginning talking about all the latest news than we did with the linebacker and the position breakdown. But we're going to continue these breakdowns here. We're going to continue to discuss the players here next week. We will be doing an offensive position. So we've been alternating back and forth between offense and defense. So we're going to go from the linebackers. We'll go to tackle. I don't even know what position yet, but we'll decide. And you guys will be here to hear it. All right. So anything else, guys?
Yes. So before we go, Kenny just dropped another $5. So appreciate you, Kenny. He said 96 people watching and only 9 likes. If you like what these dudes do, please hit the like button. Show some love. Much love, Nick, Mike, and Tony.
All right. My man, Cam.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Huh?
I said appreciate you, meaning Kenny. Don't forget, guys, Thursday night is our fan interaction show. So make sure you get your questions in. You can call us 628-888-3443. I'll drop that also in the comment section in the chat. Once again, that telephone number is 628-888-3443. You don't have to wait till Thursday to call us. You can give us a call, shoot us a text message, leave a voicemail. We won't answer it, but you can leave a voicemail, send us a text with your question. And if you're willing or wanting to jump on video, just let us know. I think we're going to have a couple guests on Thursday night as well, a couple fans that want to come in. I think Adam, 49ers Insider, is going to be coming from Niner Faithful Radio, possibly Quest for Six as well, Kyle. And also maybe Chuck McCarver. He had shot me a message and said he may drop in if he can. But make sure you get those questions in. You can also use the hashtag on Twitter, AskNBNiners, as well as email us, nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. And when I say NB9ers, I mean NB9ERS @nothingbutniners.com. So make sure you get that email. Guys, if you want any of our apparel, check out our website, nothingbutniners.com. We got the Stone Cold Kittle shirt there. We got the Birth of a Dynasty. I got one hanging here. You can see it here, Birth of a Dynasty. See that? Hashtag NB9ers. So it's that NB9ers @nothingbutniners.com. So you can check that out. Give us a shout for Thursday night show. And appreciate the donations tonight, Kenny. Appreciate all the fans that were in here as well, listening to us. Had a lot of people watching tonight as well. Appreciate all of you guys, man. Without any views, we can't do this.
Supporters, man, supporters. Very, very important out there. We appreciate you guys. Tony, I saw you pop on real quick. It looks like you had something else you wanted to say too.
Just want to thank Ken for the support. Yeah, listen, fans, you guys got questions? You want to talk about anything? Give us a shout. Call the numbers. Send a email. Send a tweet. Hashtag AskNBNiners, and we'll get to it on the show.
Yeah, you can hit us up directly on there. The overall page is Nothing But 9 ERS on Twitter. You can even ask the questions on Facebook also, guys. So don't forget, we also check the Facebook, and you can hashtags work on Facebook, so you can use it on Facebook also. But our Twitter handle is Nothing But 9 ERS. Mine is 49ers Mike _F. Tony is NJ Niner Fan 499, and Nick is 49er Faithful 365. There's no S in there. I am done messing that up, guys. It's a wrap. I'm never messing with the Twitter handles again. All right, guys, we're going to get up out of here. We thank you guys for your time and for your participation, for the contributions and everything like that. We're going to continue to bring you guys what we think is good products, and we're going to continue to get better day after day, week after week. So prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
Always remain faithful. Be out.